Hello friends, do you love tea and natural wellness products as much as I do? I've partnered with Positively Tea and Positively Botanicals, and I can honestly say I drink their organic loose leaf tea almost every day, and I love it. From organic teas to natural remedies, they offer high-quality products that support a healthy, mindful lifestyle. When you shop through my affiliate link, you not only discover amazing products for yourself, but you also help support the podcast. Visit the link in the show notes to explore their selections today. And for you coffee lovers, they have you covered as well. Treat yourself, support the show, and keep connecting with the natural world. Hello friends, and welcome to the Nature Wanderer. Glad to have you here with me this week. Today I'd like to talk about watching birds. Yeah, I've been watching the birds at my bird feeders. It's funny how many of them disappear from my feeders in the winter. Well, it's just fewer species. A lot of them have flown south where it's nice and warm, and they're staying warm out of this cold, cold winter weather. Well, that's a good time. If you listen to my earlier episode, I talked about how it's a good time to watch the birds in the winter. You can see them better, and you have fewer species to learn who they are. And that's why we do the Christmas bird count in the middle of winter. Well, besides tradition. And today I want to talk about another bird count, another citizen science project. Yeah, it's just about time for the Great Backyard Bird Count. So I'd like to ask you, what if watching birds for a few minutes could help scientists understand the planet? Would you do it? I do. That's the main reason I do it. Well, my science background always kind of pushes me towards scientific research, and I love citizen science. I've talked about it in the past, so you already know I love citizen science. But anyhow, the Great Backyard Bird Count is next weekend. It's February 13th through the 16th, so it starts on Friday, and it goes right through the weekend into Monday. So you have 4 days to count birds and help science. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. So sit back and enjoy watching the birds and learning how you can help scientists. So, what is the Great Backyard Bird Count? Okay, well, basically it is an annual global, yes, I said global, citizen science event. I've done podcast episodes on citizen science before, but I'll do a brief recap of what citizen science is. Scientists can't be everywhere. They need our help. So they ask everyday people like you and I to help them gather data so that they can use that data to actually discover what's going on in the world, to help them with their research. So one way to do it is to involve as many people as you can to gather information from all over the place. I mean, scientists aren't coming into my backyard to watch my birds. They don't know what birds are in my backyard. They don't know what birds are in your backyard. The only way they're going to know is if you're out there counting those birds for them and giving them the information. So this is what citizen science is. It's everyday people out there gathering data in as best a format and as best a way that they can so that the data is as accurate as possible, and then giving it to the scientists so that they can use that data. Now, yes, they are going to make sure that they understand that the data may not be 100% accurate, but it's usually pretty close because most citizen science projects will have trainings. They'll have safeguards to make sure that the data is fairly accurate. So that is what citizen science is. And the Great Backyard Bird Count, which happens every February this time of year, every single year, usually around mid-February. Okay, it's an annual citizen science project, and it's done globally. Anyone, anywhere, can do this project in as little as 15 minutes. So it's not like it takes a lot of your time. 15 minutes. Can you spare 15 minutes in 4 days? Can you spare 15 minutes each day of those 4 days? Can you spare a couple hours? Yeah, you can put in more time. It doesn't just have to be, 15 minutes, I got mine in, I'm done for the weekend. No, you can do longer. I usually do several 15 minutes or longer bouts of counting birds. So who runs this? I mean, it is a citizen science project, but someone has to gather all the data from all these people. They have to check the data. They have to make sure it's all put into databases. So who's put this together? Who runs the whole show? The Great Backyard Bird Count. Well, it's actually a combination of three main organizations. First of all, if you're talking birds, you gotta involve Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Yeah, right in my neck of the woods. It's in the middle of New York State. It's not too far from me. I've been there. It's a really nice place. So the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, ornithology means bird study, the National Audubon Society, of course, and Birds Canada. So those are the three main organizations that run the whole Great Backyard Bird Count. And the reason that they put this whole thing together is basically to create a snapshot of bird populations worldwide and to track changes over time. So they want to see what the birds are doing and how they're changing throughout the years. Are they moving their habitats? Are they changing their habits? Are the populations changing over the years? What's going on? And where is all this happening? So that's the whole purpose of this. That's why those three organizations put the whole thing together. Now, don't think that, okay, you've got these three big birding organizations that put this together. This is scientific research. We want the data to be perfect. No, I don't want to scare you off. Okay, it's not about being an expert birder. It's about showing up. And even if you don't know a lot about birds, they have great training workshops. There's great videos. There's help out there. There's articles you can read. All of it's on one main website. Bird Count, all one word, birdcount.org. I'll make sure the link is in the show notes for it. So anyhow, a little bit about the history of the Great Backyard Bird Count. Well, it started in 1998 as a North American winter bird count, and it expanded globally. In 2013 was the main expansion to global participation. Now it's one of the largest wildlife surveys on Earth. Yeah, one of the largest. That's how much it expanded. People love watching the birds and they love helping science. I mean, today there's hundreds of thousands of people participating in the GBBC. There's millions of bird observations. Nearly every country in the world is represented in the Great Backyard Bird Count. Birds don't pay attention to borders. They ignore them. So the GBBC, it reminds us that science doesn't need borders either. So it's great that this is all over the world. And why in February? I mean, who wants to get outdoors in February when it's cold and count birds? Well, there's actually a reason for this. It's a very important time of year. The birds are under winter stress. The scientists want to study the birds at this time because, well, first of all, they're under winter stress, the cold, limited food, migration prep. So they want to see how they're doing under this stress. It's also easier counting. There's fewer leaves on the trees so that you can see the birds easier, and they're concentrated around our feeders. It's easier to get food at our feeders, so they're coming to our feeders. Yeah, they're getting food in the wild, but hey, if you've got free food, they're coming to get it. And the winter data matters because climate change impacts. Yeah, it's getting warmer. Are more birds migrating? Are fewer birds migrating? Are they moving their territories further north because of climate change? All of this can be seen better during the winter months. The shifting of ranges, survival rates, all of this can be seen better in winter. That's why they hold this count in February. So hopefully I've enticed you to participate in the Great Backyard Bird Count. Hopefully. Maybe you still have some doubts. Maybe you're like, I'm not a good birder. I don't know enough about birds. I don't know what I'm doing. It sounds like I have to spend a lot of time and effort. And hey, it's easy. Do you want to know how to participate? Okay. We're going to go from zero to bird nerd here. So strap in. Okay, maybe not a bird nerd like me, but yeah, I'm going to get you to understand how easy it is to participate in the Great Backyard Bird Count. Okay, first of all, step one, choose your spot. Your backyard. If you live in the city, on your balcony. Maybe you want to go to a local park. Maybe you want to go on a certain trail. Maybe you love hiking and you decide, hey, I'm going to bird on that hike I'm going to take this afternoon. Maybe you want to do it in your schoolyard. I'm always encouraging schools to participate. Yeah, they have all day Friday to go outside and watch the birds, count them, or sit at the window, set up some bird feeders by the schoolyard window. Anyhow, schools, cemeteries, nice quiet places. Birds hang out there. I love going to the cemetery in the summertime and doing some birding there because it's so quiet and peaceful and lots of trees and lots of birds. You can do it anywhere, but choose your spot. Step 2, watch the birds. Yeah, that's simple. Watch the birds. Minimum of 15 minutes. You count the maximum number of birds each species seen at one time. Okay, so how many of the chickadees, black-capped chickadees, how many black-capped chickadees did you see at one time? Were there 10 at your feeder? And they all flew off. Okay, and then you had 5 come back. Are those the same? I'm not going to add that to my count then. If there's 15 that came back, okay, now my number went up to 15. 10 of those may be the same birds. So you're counting the maximum number that you see of each species seen at one time. Okay, that's during your 15 minutes. Now, I'm usually asked at this point, it's like, well, what if I have 15 minutes before I go to work on Friday and I'm out there counting the birds and I get my numbers and then I count in the afternoon when I get home from work? Same place, same feeders, and I'm seeing 15 chickadees come in, and I had 15 chickadees earlier. Do I just ignore them? No, you put down those 15 chickadees during that one time. Yeah, so it's a new list for that time period. Now, if you're watching for 45 minutes, well, you go with the highest number of the species in that 45 minutes. Next day, you consider it a new list. Yeah, so every time you stop and you start again later, it's a new list. Okay, because I get asked that all the time. It's like, well, they could be the same. Yeah, they could be. You don't know, but they also might be new ones. I do bird banding at my feeders during the winter and sometimes during the summer, and And I can tell by that band around their leg whether it's the same bird that visited earlier. So I can tell that way, and you know what? A lot of times it's not. I'm putting new bands on the birds. Sometimes it is. So yeah, every time you go to that feeder and you're counting for a new count, you count the birds. Okay, so step 3, record them. How do you record the birds? Well, I always use eBird. Okay, it's an app that you put on your phone. You can do it on the computer too. So you write down a list of all the birds you're seeing, then go to your computer. I prefer using my smartphone, and I have the eBird app on there. I'll put it in the show notes. I also use Merlin Bird ID. That way you can let the app listen for you in case you don't know bird calls. It actually helps new birders. So use Merlin Bird ID and the eBird app. That way when you're done using them and recording your birds, it's already entered. All the data went to the scientists already. So it makes it so much easier. But you also need to know how to use these apps. So the nice thing is both those apps, eBird and Merlin, were put together by the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, and they have wonderful instructions for their use. So yeah, they're great apps to have. I recommend using both of them, but usually I record everything out through eBird. Now here's some tips for beginners. It is okay to say sparrow species. There's a lot of sparrows out there. Sometimes you can't tell. Maybe it's another type of bird that you're not sure exactly what kind it is. Maybe you live down south and you still have some of the warm weather birds. Yeah, even though it's winter, because you have warm weather. All the ones that flew from my backyard down to your backyard, yeah, you get to count those. But hey, maybe you've got a wren. Good luck in trying to figure out what kind of wren. So go ahead and record it as a wren species. Usually you'll see it as a wren SP period or chickadee SP period. So it's some sort of species. That way they know the species, the general species. They just don't know the exact species. So it does still help them out. If you have your camera handy, take pictures at your feeder. That really helps too for identifying. Use the Google Lens on your phone. Yeah, take a picture, Google Lens it. Most of the time they can come up with what bird it was, as long as it was a decent picture. The Merlin Sound app, I love it. It's a game changer. Yeah. It picks up sounds that I don't always pick up. I'm partially deaf in my left ear. I have been since I was young. And so I usually have to cup my ears with my hands. I make a cup to make them bigger so that I can absorb more of the sound. But still, I miss some. Merlin can usually pick those birds that I'm missing in the background. It can pick them up. And it identifies it better for you. Now, it's not foolproof. I have had Merlin make mistakes on birds. It's like, what do you mean this bird's in my area? They're never here. So yeah, they will usually have a red dot next to it if it's a rare bird. And unless you are positive, don't record that bird. Okay. So yeah, those are some tips if you're a beginner at this. Now, step 4, and this is the final step. Mistakes are expected. Okay, scientists, they're really good at filtering and validating data. So submit your data. That's step 4. Just submit it. Okay, don't worry about if you made it. You may have made a mistake. Don't worry about, I'm not sure about that. Don't lose sleep over it. Please don't lose sleep. You did fine. I have submitted some, and I've gotten an email from the lab, the birding lab, and they says, are you sure about this bird? Normally we don't have this bird in your area in the winter. And because I'm a fairly decent birder, I will show them my evidence. I'll tell them my evidence. It's like, oh yeah, I know what they look like. I saw it firsthand. I was only 5 feet away from it. I give them all the details. And they'll be, okay, you just got a rare bird sighting. I've had that happen a couple of times, usually with the Christmas bird count, not so much with the Great Backyard Bird Count, but it does happen, and they expect that. So don't make that discourage you from submitting your data. So step 4, just submit it. The scientists will take care of it. So that's how easy it is. That's it. Okay, step 1, choose your spot. Step 2, watch the birds. Step 3, record the birds, what you saw. And step 4, submit your data. And if you're using eBird, it's already submitted. Well, as soon as you hit the submit button on it. So yeah, enjoy. You're not going to ruin science by being human. So anyhow, why are we doing this? I mean, what are the scientists learning from the Great Backyard Bird Count data? Well, they're actually tracking population trends. They're detecting range shifts. They actually have found between the Great Backyard Bird Count and the Christmas Bird Count data that a lot of species are actually shifting their ranges further north due to climate change. Okay, I can't say due to climate change. No, they're assuming it's due to climate change. We'll say that. That's still under the research. Early warning signs for species in trouble. It's another thing they're learning. They've actually seen some declines in some familiar backyard birds. There's been northern movement of some of the southern species. All of this has been, found through the Great Backyard Bird Count and other bird counts. And I know as a bird bander, doing my winter bird banding or my MAPS bird banding, I know I have a friend who does the breeding bird survey. Well, the Great Backyard Bird Count actually complements all these professional surveys. So I may say, hey, these are the birds that we have around here, and it's backed up by the Great Backyard Bird Count because everyone else is saying, oh yeah, I saw that bird, I saw that bird. Now, before you start doing and tell me you're doing it, okay? Tell me you're going to do it. It's easy to do. It's fun to do. And you're helping science, okay? But before you do it, what I want you to do is I want you to go to birdcount.org. I'll leave the link in the show notes. Go there and just cruise around their website, check out the different pages. They're going to show you what birds might be in your area, because that's going to help you out. It's going to let you know what to look for in your backyard. Grab a field guide if you're not familiar. Go and do some research online. There's so much good information out there on what birds are going to be in your area, and it's going to help you identify them. And like I said, if you're not positive, okay, it's some sort of sparrow species. Yeah, it's that easy. But if you know that a certain sparrow isn't in your area in the wintertime, it makes it even easier for you. Yeah, then you can narrow it down. Now, I encourage you to do it with friends, especially if you are not a great birder. Maybe you don't know your birds. Find a friend who does and do this bird count with them. It's a great way to get together, maybe have a party afterwards or during. I always encourage classrooms, if you're a teacher listening to this, especially science teachers, get your classroom to participate. Maybe have a prize for the kid who comes in with the most birds that they saw. And I always encourage first-time birders to do this as well. It's a great way to learn your birds, and it gets people hooked. Yeah, I know I've had many people tell me that, till I did the Great Backyard Bird Count, I really didn't care much about birds. Now I can't stop going out and looking for birds. I put up an extra feeder. Yeah, so it does get you hooked sometimes if you are new to birding. It gets you to put feeders up, hopefully, in your backyard so that you can do some feeder watching. Maybe do some habitat improvements. I've found that the Great Backyard Bird Count is more of a spark to get you going rather than just a one-time event. So I've got a challenge for you with the Great Backyard Bird Count. What I'd like you to do is count in silence for the first 5 minutes. Just watch the birds without talking, without any noise, without the TV in the background. Just watch and listen to the birds. Maybe you even want to try listening first with your eyes closed. See what birds you can identify just by their call. I like to do that and then open my eyes when I hear one and see who it is at my feeder so I can connect the sound with the bird. And I'm always encouraging, notice their behavior, not just the bird species. It's funny, once we learn the name of something, we lose interest in it. But if we keep watching them and watching their behavior and learning more about them, we don't lose interest in them, even if we do know their name. Maybe you want to sketch one of the birds if you're an artist. And I encourage you to write down questions that maybe that bird raises, that you can look it up and do some research on it and learn even more about that bird. So I encourage you to join in on the Great Backyard Bird Count. Again, it's February 13th through the 16th, Friday through Monday. So you can start at 12:01 on Friday morning. You're probably not going to get many birds at that time unless you want to go outside and do some owling. See what owls are in your area. And then you just go all weekend and you stop on Monday at midnight. So you have 4 days. You don't have to do it all the time. You can skip a day. You can skip 2 days. But the more you do, the better the data is for the scientists. But don't be discouraged if you only have time to maybe do one 15-minute segment. That's more than doing none. And the scientists can use that data. So please, get out and enjoy watching the birds this weekend. I'd like to thank you for listening today. I'll leave as many links in the show notes for the Great Backyard Bird Count. I know I'm going to be doing it next weekend. I hope you will too. So I hope you enjoyed listening today. Be certain to share the podcast with your nature-loving friends so that they too can learn more about the natural world around them. If you'd like to support the podcast, visit the show notes for a link to my Ko-Fi page. You can also support the podcast by purchasing awesome items at my online merch store. And if you like to journal your wanderings through nature, be certain to purchase a Nature Wanderer Nature Journal. All the links are in the show notes. And I have a new Amazon online store. You can purchase some great nature-related merchandise on there, and part of the proceeds, no extra cost to you, but part of the proceeds Amazon donates to the Nature Wanderer and the Forest Connection podcasts. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Stop back next week for another episode of the Nature Wanderer podcast. Have a great one and keep exploring the nature around you. Hello, friends. I hope you're out wandering through nature, exploring the natural world around you. Do you enjoy writing about your wanderings? Nature journaling is an awesome, fun way to remember all the adventures you have taken and how you felt during those journeys. If you're looking for some beautiful journals to keep track of all your wanderings, I have several available on Amazon, including some guided journals for children. Start your journey in journaling by clicking on the link in the show notes. Keep exploring the nature around you and keep journaling all your wanderings. Hey there, fellow nature wanderers. If you're like me, you love spending time outdoors, breathing in that fresh air and connecting with the natural world. But at home, have you ever thought about what's in the products you use every single day? That's why I'm excited to share Apple Valley Natural Soap with you. Their handcrafted all-natural soaps are made with organic ingredients, essential oils, and no harsh chemicals. Awesome! So they're not only great for your skin, but they're safe for the planet. And they don't just stop at soap. Apple Valley Natural Soap also carries a full line of natural skincare products, including shampoos, body butters, facial bars, and more. All designed to nourish your skin without synthetic ingredients. You can't beat that. That's just awesome. Whether you're hiking in the woods or just winding down after a long day, their products bring a little bit of nature right into your home. And the best part? By supporting Apple Valley Natural Soap through the Nature Wanderer, you're also supporting this podcast. Just head to the show notes and click on the link for Apple Valley Natural Soap. So go ahead, treat yourself and the environment to something better. Your skin and Mother Nature will thank you.